we're back for episode 5, part 2.
Part 2, yeah. We got a lot of behind-the-scenes footage, but
yeah,
damn.
We did a good half hour, and then Justin's microphone wasn't recording.
No, sorry, folks.
And ironically, like that was probably the best podcast MMA has ever
they'll never get to hear
heard.
It.
Yeah,
they might. You know what? We'll keep your side.
The stuff you said was gold. The stuff I said was gold.
Yeah.
And then GSP broke into my house and was like, "Hey, I'm not impressed by your podcast." And then fucking just ran off.
I think that's when it started to break down. Yeah, I think that's when it happened.
I have none of that recorded.
Yeah, sorry, folks. I'll take the L on that one. You know,
take a L. Yeah, anyways, no big deal. Well, thanks, folks, for coming back for the 5th rendition of our journey here in podcast world. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem we've had so far. So,
yeah. Well, I guess to just rehash some of the stuff we did mention, this ESPN deal, everyone's buzzing about it. Everyone's got mixed emotions. Some people think that for some reason that they bought UFC or a portion of it. To clarify it for all y'all, it's a partnership, just like Fox TV does right now. Yeah. They're doing it with ESPN. But Justin, how do you feel about all that? Like,
I gotta wait. You know, I like the free fights Fox has given us.
Yep.
And I don't have access to ESPN, I guess, unless I want to pay for it. But yeah, we'll see how that. I don't know how that's going to affect my Fight Pass. Is the only thing I'm concerned about.
That's a good question.
You know, do I have to pay for ESPN this and then Fight Pass separate, or can I just pay for Fight Pass? You would assume it's
together. You would assume.
I just hope it's not limited Fight Pass, because there's some good fights on that little service they provide for us.
It's definitely worth the extra penny there, but honestly, I think overall it's a good move for UFC in the sense that they want to be considered a legitimate sport, and that's why they did the the whole Reebok thing, and they want uniforms and everyone kind of dressing the same. And ESPN is more of a sports broadcast, if you will. So now they're right in there with NFL, NHL.
There's a lot of stuff that they got going. Boxing, definitely boxing.
Ooh, those ESPN. 30 for 30s.
Ooh. Yeah, it's. Man, like what we said in part 1 of this podcast, I'm thinking Dana White's probably trying to slide into a deal with boxing.
Yeah, you did mention that, and he is sniffing around that. And that's what he started off with before MMA took off.
Did you see what is it? Oscar De La Hoya is starting. We're gonna try to do an MMA thing.
A little MMA thing. Yeah, I did see that. How much capital does he really have?
I don't. I just think. It's kind of, he's a hypocrite, really. Yeah. I like him, great boxer, legend of the sport. He was talking
smack about MMA at the beginning.
Yeah, and then when Dana White's trying to do his boxing thing, he's like, Dana this, Dana that. He's never going to do it. And now he's trying to get Chuck and Tito to fight. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on. That's not a dinosaur fight. That's a relic fight.
Yeah, that's a fight
that's just mean.
I don't really want to see.
No. Personally. Especially like I personally... I enjoy the way it ended the first time,
and probably the second time too. But yeah, no, I love Tito, so I don't want to see it. It just doesn't make sense. 2 wins, he lost.
No, so. It's done. What are you gonna have?
Those are the names.
Best out of 5.
Exactly. Fedor's a name you can market. Tito and Chuck 3. That's going to be a hard sell for any business. So good luck, Oscar.
Good luck, Oscar. You got this. You and your lingerie line that you're gonna come up with.
Oh man.
But hey, I mean, my thing is they have the same agreement with Fox. Basically, like it's got a few adjustments to the contract, but WME/IMG, when they made that deal with Fox, I mean they're getting $100 million a year revenue. My question is, where are they getting the 50% growth? Because at $750 over 5 years, you're talking $150 million a year. So they're gonna have to produce an extra $50 million a year to really adhere to this contract.
Yeah, I just think they're trying to make their money back. Really, is what it's coming down to.
It looks like it.
You know,
He's grasping.
Yeah, they're just trying to reach out, and ESPN's a good avenue to take. You know,
and you got to imagine all the celebrities and athletes that are invested in UFC now that own it. They probably had some pull at.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about
this.
that.
Yeah, don't forget that.
That's so weird. I thought that.
This is like, it almost feels like a long time in the making, almost.
Could you imagine if fans owned portions of the UFC?
Buddy.
That'd be pretty cool.
Is it publicly traded? It's publicly traded.
I don't think it is. I think it's like
WME, IMG. I don't know.
I think that's like a
Beverly Hills money.
They
do their thing.
Tycoon, oil tycoons, and but I don't know exactly what they do. Once the Zufas were out, I kind of didn't really care as long as I got UFC.
I'm kind of with you on that. But don't forget, speaking of UFC, we've got the Nunes Pennington fighter, aka the Lioness versus Rocky.
Yeah, I think this whole card just didn't get the hype. You know,
no.
When we were talking before, I gotta keep bringing that up, but
you don't have to.
Thank you.
It stings.
It does a little bit, but yeah, like, the more we talked about that main event, it's pretty interesting.
It's a great main event.
Yeah,
but it seems like without lover or hater, Ronda sold tickets, man.
Yeah, this division
she
was
filled
just
the seats.
It was booming, and now it's.
But this is what I was talking about with when Dana said, "I swear there will never be female fighters in UFC." It's because of this fizzing off garbage that's happening with the women's division. Like people really did just. When you base it all on Ronda, you left it all on Ronda. You didn't. I guess he also didn't have time to make stars out of other people. But
there's a lot of good fight. Like just, I don't know. It's a weird thing that's going on, right?
Listen, Nunes or Pennington. Sorry, I guess she beat Misha.
Yeah.
Her last loss was Holly Holmes. She was on that card. It was the Alvarez McGregor card, for God's sakes, when she took on Misha Tate. Like, that exposure is great,
that tells me she had an injury that she's been away for so long. Maybe I guess I don't know.
But I just feel like they could have promoted her better.
And looking at how people are making her an underdog, it's a huge underdog.
Yeah, man. But this was 19 UFCs ago, right? Like.
Well, for a main event, this fight is that's a huge underdog number for a main event fight.
Huge. I don't think she's as big of an underdog as they're really claiming, but that's probably another problem, and that's key to the lack of marketing, right? If you notice, marketing can actually affect the odds of a fighter's win based on how many people bet, because Vegas numbers change everything, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the McGregor and Mayweather fight. Like, if you bet early on enough, you would have had real good odds if you put money, or real bad odds if you put money on McGregor, but you had real good return. It was like 1 in 64, 1 in 600, 1 in whatever, like different, that he won't land a punch until the third round, that he won't win any rounds in the entire fight, like all these different little
there's a lot of little bets now.
But after McGregor talked so much, and after the tour, like, you go back to see the numbers, and it's like Vegas didn't have them didn't have McGregor as that big of an underdog in the end, and your bet wasn't going to bring you that much money. Like, it was
I think
crazy.
A lot of people wait till the last second too nowadays.
Yeah, probably.
They want to
because they want that money.
They're A, lazy, and B, let's cash in as much as we can on the last. I don't know.
But Tapology, 90% to 10, like.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm part of that 90.
Hey, I am too. I'm not gonna lie, but
I won't be
you
shocked,
and I are
though.
more. Yeah,
like, it won't be a shocker if she beats her, but
no.
Nunes has proven to me that she's got vicious hands.
Yeah, she's a heavy hitter, man. Heavy girl. Now, the card under that, though, the co-main is pretty interesting too, with Jacare and Gastelum. I'm pretty excited about that. And in this one, they've got Gastelum as an underdog, but it's pretty close.
I think when
Jacare is a slight favorite. If he can get it on the ground, it's over.
Well, not if he can kick him like he did Brunson. Like true. That was a vicious kick.
That was nuts. But I mean, listen, Gastelum's 26, Jacare's 38.
Yeah, he's got power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jacare's chin has been tested, and Gastelum just put away the former middleweight champ.
That was rough. But I don't know. Who do you got in that fight? So you said you're part of the 90%, right?
Yeah, I went.
Or no, that was
for Amanda.
Fight. Yeah.
So I picked Nunes, and I'm going with Jacare as well.
Nice.
I like,
yeah,
but
man.
I like them both. Like I want to see Kelvin.
Not to take away anything from Gastelum's win over Bisping, which I guess I am technically taking away from it, but you're talking about another fighter who's kind of older, and don't forget, like he's 39, and he just came off a KO with GSP. Like, I guess it was more of a submission, but
it was turning out to be it was looking like a TKO.
Looking like a TKO, man. Like either way,
submission. That was good.
He was soggy apples when he's choked him out.
Yeah.
But 39-year-olds don't bounce back like 20-year-olds and stuff. So that fight was way too close. You know what I mean? So yeah, as good as it was, I don't think it was that big of a.
Well, I think Jacare is definitely going to test him.
They were in the same month, bro.
Yeah.
Both fights were in the same month, GSP and Gastelum.
How did they let that happen?
I don't know. Because he didn't get knocked out. He didn't. I think a TKO is an automatic 6-month medical suspension. But then again,
but he took some damage.
Yeah.
That was GSP was hitting him pretty hard. So I don't know.
I'm surprised they let him fight, but hey, that's fighting, right? What can you do?
Gotta love it.
But yeah, aside from that, we don't forget we got the Bellator fight as well, which we talked about last podcast a little bit. But
I've switched to.
You
Bader.
have switched since.
You swayed me.
I almost had you locked in on King Mo.
I was going Mo decision, and then I switched it up. I'm going Bader decision.
All right, flippity floppity.
Hey, I think we can flip and flop up until fight night. Once fight night,
I agree. Let's see if I can convince you once again to.
Well, if we have these talks, I'm gonna probably switch a few of them.
Yeah.
The more we talk about,
it's true.
Them. It's hard.
I remember going back to before we even podcast. We were when we talk about certain things, we'd be like, fuck, Justin was convincing with that argument, and go back and just change it. I sat there and argued with you the opposite. No,
you promote this guy, you're like, he's gonna do this and that, and then I've seen him do this.
But then you say a few convincing things, and I'm like,
he didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going Bader.
That fight card, the UFC card. Sorry, before we move on, is don't forget we also have that dinosaur match, which we didn't really talk about.
No.
Machida versus Vitor. That's another.
As an old school fan, I kind of like that fight.
I loved it, but I would have loved it more 10 years ago.
Yeah, when the TRT Vitor was running rampant.
And there was still that mystique of Machida.
Yeah, could you imagine that fight? That'd be. I would like to see that.
That would have been cool.
So, who do you got in that one?
You know what? As shocking as it is that they've got Machida as a moderate favorite, I think Vitor. I think Vitor might take it.
Yeah, I'm with you on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want I think Machida might win it. I want Vitor to win. That's who
I think. Yeah, I think this is more of a.
But if Machida fights his karate style like he was doing against Anders. I think he could take this fight. And
Vitor rushes in. Vitor's got his. It's a perfect match. It's really a perfect fight for Machida because Vitor's got that temper and Machida's got that patience.
Exactly. And he had trouble with people that can kick. Machida is he can kick.
I'm gonna go TKO for Machida, second round.
Machida, you're going Machida?
Yeah.
I'm going Vitor because he's been that old school where I live in that time frame. That's where my MMA mentality is.
Honestly, and I hate to sound like an old fart, but those were the golden days of MMA, of UFC, man.
Yeah, we didn't know about testing yet.
No.
So
it was like when our parents in the 80s, just everyone had AIDS and didn't know, and everyone just having a good time.
Yeah. Just let us have that good time, please.
Go back to the AIDS days. That sounds so twisted. But anyways, back to Bellator. So for Bellator, we got King Mo, obviously Bader, and we couldn't convince you to go Bader. But if
I did. I'm going Bader.
Or convince you to go against Bader, I should say.
No.
But I will say this. If King Mo does win, right, that means he'll be taking on Mitrione, right?
Mitrione, yeah.
And I think that would be a better fight than Mitrione Bader, to be honest.
Mitrione and Mo? Yeah, I like that fight better, but I'm going against you, so... That's what because we had a thing, like
fair
I feel
enough.
bad for the listeners because we had a little thing there.
Yeah.
We were picking that fight, so.
Okay, cool. Well, I got King Mo, and what's it called? Aside from that, I think that we have a jam-packed weekend, and we got a little treat for our listeners here. Just so happens. Some close friends of mine are throwing a pretty big stag and doe, and Justin has agreed to be my date for the evening.
Yeah, let's keep it classy, folks.
Maybe a little not so classy, a little bit of. Just give me a few minutes of not so. Don't be so stingy.
Yeah, we might do a podcast that night, right? Thinking maybe
the Wasted podcast,
a little treat. That'll be episode 6.
It'll be episode whatever we can pronounce. That's what it'll be. Whatever we can pronounce. So I'm excited for that. We're legit. We're gonna set up the podcast, set up the mics, and then start the pregame show.
We'll toss in a few fights, in the background.
Yeah.
If there's a fight you guys want us to watch, we'll definitely play it, discuss it.
Let us know. I guess finally before we wrap up, hey Justin, you want to check that Twitter for me and see?
Yeah. So we were doing a contest this week. If anyone's still listening, I'm gonna pop up our Twitter. No, nobody responded to you, man.
Now let me ask you a follow-up question there, Justin.
But we got one like.
Hey, there you go.
Shout out to the DV Show podcast.
Ooh,
thanks
DV
for
Show podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for literally all of the support. All of it is you.
Yeah.
Justin, follow-up question here, if I may. Did you post the time in which we would be podcasting?
No, I did not. I assumed everybody already knew. We're that famous. They should know when we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Folks.
That's
we
my
dropped
bad.
the ball on that one. No worries.
That's 2 losses we've taken tonight. Yeah, both my fault.
There you go. So I'm hiring a replacement. No, I'm just kidding. Listen.
I'm looking for something new.
There you go.
Well, it only took 5.
Yeah. Short-lived. But for those that do listen, thank you. And I guess we'll try this contest again another time where we actually post a time and date.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we'll probably be posting next week. We got got some merch available. Mm-hmm. We might have a shirt. Got a couple of posters if you guys are interested in that.
Good stuff. I got an old button from an old sweater.
Yeah, we got some
we
good
should
stuff.
Just give
folks.
people random shit.
What do you want to listen?
Oh, hey, man. I got Justin's old toasters.
I'll sign it too. Like, we're not that big. I'm not that popular. We're not.
Hey, if I was a listener, I'd take it just for the fun of the fact that these 2 idiots gave away a signed toaster.
What did they do? Made 5 podcasts. Good job. Oh man. Man. Yeah.
Anyways, aside from that, I guess we didn't really get to touch on GSP versus Nate.
We could do that when we see each other.
Maybe that'll be our next podcast. We'll have some more info on it. But until then, thanks for what do you want to call this episode?
Let's call it "Where Were You?" Maybe. Let's.
That's perfect.
Or join. Yeah, next one will be. Yeah, we'll do that.
Where were you on that one? Okay, where were you? I really like that. Okay, that's the official name.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again for joining me, Justin.
Thank you.
And
thanks for joining
all the
me.
listeners. Yeah, thank you for listening. And I guess we'll see you on episode 6.
Have a good night, folks.
Peace.